Welcome back to All Up in Your Business. Today, we are going to talk about a topic that will assist you in ensuring that you continuously evolve on your journey of entrepreneurship. Matter of fact, on building a leadership stance that makes sense to you in this world that we live in. So what we're going to do is dive into a topic that helps you shift your mindset or give you a tool that makes you feel more empowered to take action towards what it is you want. And most of all, know the business you're in and know the role you're meant to play leading it. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And of course, we appreciate any shares, likes, subscribes, and reviews that you're able to post about the show. We hope it has the impact that you need in your world. And as much as I love being all up in your business, some of these moments you might be all up in mine. So here we go. Let's dive in. Stop calling your business your family, because it's not. It's an entity that you get to construct who belongs in it to have the best results. Your family, you have no choice. In your business, you 100% are making the choice of who is there, why they're there, and their role for being there. And then you just happen to be relationally connected in order to have some fun along the way. But truly, the construct of business is about getting things done, is about serving your client base, and having hopefully a financial win at the end of it all. So when you construct your business operating agreements, it's so key to understand the role each of you are playing, but also where are you headed? If there isn't a clear strategy to align with the expertise needed to implement that strategy, then you have a lot of lost sheep that you're trying to herd together. And as partners in business or a leadership team in business, it's really, really challenging to drive things forward. And 100% is reflected on the books if you don't know what is missing on your leadership team or where you are misaligned on it going forward. I remember when I got this call from a man, and I'm not going to disclose who this company is, but they're three partners in business, three men that were consultants in another company and decided to create their own company. Happens all the time. When you have the acumen and then you start to see that someone else is earning a margin off your time, but you're the ones leading it and you think you can also create the right tech stack or services to serve your clients, you feel like, you know what, we should start my own business. And look at these two guys over here. Let's bring them over and let's start it together. Because I think we have some complementary, skills and we really love working together. So let's start a business. Exciting, right? It's amazing. And you should actually go out and test that. If that works for you, that's amazing. Here are the things I want you to know to try and do ahead of time to make it a little clearer. Because when I got this phone call about, hey, I've been in this partnership for almost a year. We were all kind of working full time in another company. Now, two of us have now gone full time. One of us is still working full time in the other company. And so part time with us hasn't really been putting in much of an effort. And now we're starting to get resentment because we have to pay that person an equal share of the earnings when there hasn't been equal contribution. What we did was they hired me, obviously, because what I told them, I said, you know what, it sounds like you didn't really establish what your partnership should look like. You only talked about an equity split because you all decided to go into this business together, but you didn't really talk about who are the operating members of this company and what's the level of effort each member is going to bring. And how does that translate to compensation for each of you as partners? Real big questions. So in need on how to establish your partnership going forward, because if you don't have clarity on who owns what part of the company, whose role and responsibility it is to deliver against the strategy of the company, when sweat equity is put in place, when financial, investment is put in place, how you're going to get paid out, what the share distribution is, how you're going to get compensated. If you don't have those conversations up front and you just throw yourself into business with a blanketed operating agreement that you barely didn't look into because you needed to file for your entity type, all those things matter up front before you start a business, especially as partners, because you want to be clear again on when shit hits the fan, that you know how you're going to resolve that conflict, that you know who's responsible for chasing down that part of the company's role and responsibility, that expertise. So what was so cool about being hired and working with these three men that started this amazing consulting company is that we had a lot of clarity sessions. We got super clear on, oh, you know what? I'm a specialist in this and I want to stay in my lane and this is what I want to do. So I'm going to own these departments of this company as we build and scale, because their trajectory was, it is actually quite rapid, but like they had already the market that they were going to sell their product to because they had worked with them before. And so they were going to really scale quickly and hire quickly and all the things. So that realignment just for them to be clear on their role was clear, it was key. Plus the departments that they own, key. So when we mapped out, okay, each of their roles, which was great that there was a distinction of expertise and role and responsibility that each of them wanted, and they were very clear on who was going to do what going forward. They also got to discuss how compensation was going to work for the year to date at that time when we worked together, the year to date, so that compensation would be dispersed properly based on level of effort and what would have to remain in the business accounts to invest into the business into the next year, because they were already profitable, because they already had clients to work with, which was amazing as a new start to a business. And then we also mapped out hiring plans and how they were going to ask and get approval from each other in regards to who gets to hire when for what. So we talked through the proposal process, the internal, like, hey, this is what the strategy is. This is the client base we're going after. These are the clients coming down the pipeline. This is the staffing we need to actually get it done. Do I have your approval to go and hire it? That it was a collaborative effort with ownership in each domain to state their case and the budget required in order to build it. Now, I know that sounds so structured, but it needs to be. If you want to scale your business, especially as a partner team, as you build your leadership team, as you build your culture, it needs to be structured. If you're loose about it, then I guarantee you are losing money also. And you're leaving money on the table. And you're also probably missing out on a certain number of clients you could be servicing because you're too loose around how you actually structure when you go through strategic growth efforts, what is actually required. So we were able to talk through that. We were able to talk through their compensation plans, get really clear on what it means to grow within the company. But we also talked about their individual exits. Because if you don't know also how, as a partner, if this is not working out for you, how you're going to exit the relationship and keep the business intact and your reputation intact and not break down the relationship, it is so key to talk about it up front. Similar to a prenup before marriage, you're talking through all the hard things you don't really want to. You want to do the same in your business. That's what your operating agreement actually is and should be defining, are all the terms if this goes sideways, or if I want out to pursue something else, or if, that you actually talk through how you're going to solve for that. You're not going to know all the answers, but what you can do 100% in this process is define how you're going to come to a resolution. Is it by vote? Is it a majority vote? Is it a majority vote? Is it a unanimous vote? What is it? So when you work with partners and when you are bringing leaders onto your team, that code of conduct, that operating agreement, that also understanding when conflict arises, how you're going to let it go, or move through it. You're never going to let go of the conflict, but you're going to move through it. How are you also going to exit the relationship when you need to? Because again, this is not a family. This is a business. You are there by choice. You are contractually there for a reason. So define how you can potentially contractually end it so that you can keep the relationships intact when necessary.